If you were going to teach your own impromptu film class, what 5 movies would you require the students to watch?
Oh, wow. Okay. The 5 movies I would have them watch. The first one, I already mentioned it, SAMSARA. Just the most pure, perfect form of filmmaking. That film, I saw it 4 times in the theater. It made me cry every time at the end. It is one of the most powerful films I've ever seen, and there's not a word of dialogue or narration. It's literally images, music, and profound storytelling. So that one, just as an experiment in like, this is the purest form of cinema there is, at least in my perspective. The other one, Steve McQueen's Hunger. I remember walking out of Hunger being both mind blown and depressed because I realized I'll never make a film nearly that good. But McQueen's ability to make the most visceral, exhausting, brutal movie that is composed of long takes and almost no speaking is just breathtaking. Again, just pure, perfect cinema. So definitely those 2. Then it would be Dr. Strangelove. For that one is just how, like the perfect political satire, the perfect film for, you know, you take a director like Kubrick, who's so known for heavy films with very like nuanced performances, and just to go over the top and to be able to dissect that. I mean, I could talk about that one for a long time, but just how that film has all the trademark Kubrick things, but done in such a different way. And to really understand comedy, if you don't know comedy, your films are going to be boring. Understand how comedy works, I think, is so essential to filmmaking. You know, if I had one regret about Frey, it's that I didn't have enough levity in it. So definitely that one. God, what would it be? So that's 3.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I would have to go like way back to, did you ever see Force of Nature? I forget even the director's name, but I only found out about it because Scorsese said in an interview it was one of his favorite films. Like, well, I got to check it out. It's a film noir. It's you know, because it's older, it's a little bit simpler. It's not relying on like extreme production value or whatever. Pacing, dialogue, performance, all the plot points. It's one of the most efficient, enjoyable films I've ever seen. So that one, just for like efficient, smart storytelling, it's so good. And then, oh God, probably honestly like a J.J. Abrams movie, just because the guy, like, if you want to make money, learn from the master. This guy does pop culture movies better than anybody. You know, him or Spielberg, one of those 2 where it's like, you know, take one of their big hits and like never forget to entertain your audience either, I think is like a key part of filmmaking is, you know, you can learn all the artistry, all the craft, have all the heady stuff in there, but don't forget, people paid money or gave you time of their life. Let them enjoy it too. So that'd be my course.
That'd be your course? Okay. And what would be the hardest curriculum? I mean, sorry, what would be the hardest part of the curriculum? What would be the one like, sort of like tough love part of the class that maybe the students would balk at, but you feel like they would need to know?
I don't know. I think like my own regret. I used to do talks at different film schools, and I always would tell people the one thing that, and you'll hate to hear this because I didn't listen to it when I was younger, and the only way I ever learned this was tripping and falling flat on my face 100 times, running into walls, trying to look for an exit and a doorway to the next step. Learn how to start up a business. If every film you do is a business startup, and if you don't know how to properly start up a business, you are going to lose your ass, forget my language, but you're going to, you know, it's, unless you're fortunate enough to have, you know, proper investors and a producer and an executive producer and all those people that are managing that for you, if you're doing like bootstraps, like making your own film your way with whatever proceeds you could wrangle up, you're starting up your own business. Approach it as one, no matter how low your budget is. Have a startup strategy, have a marketing strategy, have all that from the moment that you're like, oh, this is the script I'm going to make. From that moment on, start treating it like a business as well, because if you don't, you're going to make a lot of dumb mistakes that I've made 100 times and learned the hard way. So I would honestly, if I was truly teaching a filmmaking course, I would have a whole section on business startups, and you know, what do they say? 90% of startups fail. So let filmmakers know that, you know, most films fail. Go into that knowing it. If you're not willing to accept failure, then you'll never make something original, because you're going to be constantly trying to make something that's going to please people, which means it's going to be based on what already exists. And if you're not willing to go out on a limb, then you're not going to succeed. So you got to be willing to accept there's a good chance I'm going to fail. You know, I was saying it earlier, Frey, I expected nobody was going to watch it. And I got lucky, people did. With this one, I hope people want to watch it, but there's a part of me that's really braced for it to just tank. I have no idea, and I would never want to go into a film expecting it to be a success, because then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. So that'd be my thing, is the accept failure, learn from it, and know that failure is what leads to originality. And then learn business.